A journalist asks Bruce Lee on live television, "Can you really beat 10 men at once?" The studio audience leans forward. This is the question everyone wants answered. Bruce pauses, then says something nobody expects. "No, I can't." The room gasps, but his 15-second explanation that follows doesn't just shock everyone in that studio. It changes how martial artists think about fighting forever. And 50 years later, UFC champions still quote what Bruce said next. Los Angeles television studio, The Pierre Berton Show, December 1971. Bruce Lee sits opposite the host. This is Bruce's first major television interview in North America since returning from Hong Kong. He was playing small roles in Hollywood. He was struggling to gain recognition. He was struggling to break free from stereotyped roles. He was struggling to be more than just a martial arts novelist. This interview is important. A chance to speak directly to millions of viewers. A chance to explain his philosophy, his art, his vision. Pierre Berton is a legendary Canadian journalist, intelligent and respected. He's known for asking tough questions. He's done his research on Bruce. He's watched his performances. He's spoken to martial artists. He's read articles. He's a genuinely curious person. He's here to understand, not to mock. The interview was going well. A 30-minute thoughtful conversation about martial arts philosophy, Eastern and Western thought, Bruce's teaching approach. Then Berton asks the question that had been building up since the interview began. The question the producers wanted. The question the audience was waiting for. He leans forward. He looks directly into Bruce's eyes. "I've heard people say you can beat 10 men at once in a real fight. Is that true? Can you really do that?" he asked. The studio suddenly fell silent. The camera operators stopped adjusting. The crew members paused. The studio audience, about 50 people, held their breath. This was it. This was the moment. They wanted to hear Bruce Lee claim to have superhuman ability. They wanted to hear him say, "Yes, I can beat 10 men." They wanted the mythology confirmed. They wanted the legend proven valid. I'm pausing the video for 2 seconds here. Please let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Returning to the story, Bruce looks at Berton. He's not smiling. He's not faking it. He's just thinking about the question. He's really thinking about it. 5 seconds pass. On live television, it feels like an eternity. Then Bruce says clearly and decisively, "No, I can't beat 10 men at once." The audience gasps, an audible astonishment, confusion, disappointment. This wasn't what they expected. Bruce Lee, the martial arts master, the man who moved too fast for cameras to capture, the living legend, is admitting his limitations? Is he saying you can't do something? Mythology is cracking. The image is shattering. People don't know how to interpret it. Berton looks surprised, too, but also curious. "Really? You're saying you can't?" he says. "Not the way people imagine it. Let me explain why," Bruce says. And then Bruce speaks for 15 seconds. Just 15 seconds. But those 15 seconds contain more real fighting knowledge than most martial artists learn in their lifetime. Those 15 seconds are quoted in dojos and gyms for the next 50 years. Those 15 seconds fundamentally change the way serious fighters think about fighting. Bruce says, "People who ask this question are imagining a movie. They imagine 10 men attacking politely, one at a time, waiting their turn. Each one fights me, loses, the next one steps up. That's not reality. That's choreography. In real life, 10 men don't attack like that. They attack together, simultaneously, from multiple angles. And no matter how skilled you are, you cannot defend attacks from multiple directions at the same time. You have 2 hands, 2 feet, 1 center of attention. Your peripheral vision has limit. Your reaction time has limit. Physics has limit. The audience is riveted. This isn't what they expected, but it's more interesting, more real, more honest." Bruce continues, "Could I beat 10 average men? In theory, yes. If they're untrained, if they're hesitant, if they make mistakes, I might beat 3 or 4 before the others get smart and rush me together. Maybe I beat 6 if I'm lucky. Position myself well. Use their numbers against them. Make them get in each other's way. But all 10? Cleanly? Definitively? No. And anyone who tells you they can is lying. They're selling you fantasy." Berton asks, "But you're Bruce Lee. You're faster and more skilled than almost anyone. Doesn't that give you an advantage?" Bruce says, "Of course it gives me an advantage. A huge advantage. Against 1 person, 2 people, even 3. My skill matters tremendously. But there's a mathematical reality to fighting. Every additional opponent exponentially increases the difficulty. It's not linear. It's not 1 opponent is this hard, so 2 opponents is twice as hard. 2 opponents is 4 times harder. 3 opponents is 10 times harder. Because you're not just fighting 3 people. You're fighting the combinations of 3 people. The angle, the unpredictability, the chaos. If you've ever been in a situation where the odds were completely against you, where skill alone wasn't enough, drop a comment. That's the reality Bruce is describing." Bruce says, "Real fighting isn't like movies. In movies, we choreograph everything. We rehearse. We know exactly what's coming. The stuntmen know when to attack, where to attack, how to fall. We practice it 50 times before filming. Then we film it 20 times until it looks right. Then we edit it, use multiple angles, make it look seamless, make it look like I'm really fighting 10 men. But that's illusion. That's art, not reality. Bruce says, in reality, fighting multiple opponents is about survival, about not dying, not about winning, about escaping, about using environment, about anything you can do to create space, to run. Yes, run. Running isn't cowardly when you're outnumbered. It's intelligent. It's survival. Pride gets people killed. Ego gets people killed. Thinking you're invincible gets people killed. The audience is completely silent now. This isn't the Bruce Lee they thought they knew. This isn't the invincible hero from television. This is something more real, more human, more honest, and somehow more impressive, because admitting limitation takes more courage than claiming invincibility. Berton says, so when people claim they can beat multiple opponents, you're saying they're wrong? Bruce says, I'm saying they're either lying or they've never actually tried it. Big difference between imagination and reality. In your mind, you can beat anyone, do anything, be invincible, but reality has rules. Physics, biology, mathematics. You can't change those. You can only work within them. And within those rules, one skilled fighter against many opponents, the many win, almost always, unless the one is extremely lucky, or the many are extremely stupid. Bruce leans forward, gets more intense, more passionate. This matters to him. This honesty matters. He says, this is why I teach people to avoid fights, to de-escalate, to run if necessary. Because even if you win, even if you somehow beat multiple attackers, you get hurt badly. You might break your hand, get stabbed, get brain damage. Even if you win, you lose. Your body pays the price. Real fighting isn't glorious. It's ugly. It's damage. On both sides. Berton asks, but doesn't martial arts training make you better equipped to handle these situations? Bruce says, absolutely. Training gives you option, gives you awareness, gives you ability to assess situations faster, recognize danger earlier, react more effectively. But training isn't magic. It doesn't make you Superman. It makes you more capable, more aware, more prepared, but still human, still limited, still vulnerable. Bruce says, the best fighters I know, the real masters, not the movie stars, they avoid fights. They de-escalate. They walk away. Not because they're scared, because they understand consequence, understand risk, understand that even if you win, you might lose everything. Your health, your freedom, your life. Is your ego worth that? Is proving you're tough worth that? Masters say no. Only amateurs say yes. The interview continues for another 10 minutes. But those 15 seconds, Bruce's explanation of why he can't beat 10 men, that's what everyone remembered. That's what gets replayed. That's what gets quoted. Because it's the opposite of what people expected. The opposite of what martial arts marketing sell, the opposite of the mythology, but it's the truth, and truth is more powerful than mythology. After the interview airs, reactions are mixed. Some people are disappointed. They wanted Bruce Lee to claim superhuman ability, wanted to believe he could beat any number of opponents, wanted the fantasy preserved. These people criticize Bruce, say he's being humble for show, say he's downplaying his ability, say he could definitely beat 10 men but doesn't want to brag. But serious martial artists respond differently. They recognize wisdom, recognize honesty, recognize someone who's actually fought, who understands real combat, not the choreographed movie version, the messy, dangerous, unpredictable reality. These people share the interview, show it to students, use it as teaching material, point to Bruce's honesty as an example of real mastery. Gene LeBell, legendary judoka and stuntman who worked with Bruce, says in an interview years later, that's when I knew Bruce was the real deal, not from his speed or his kick. From that interview, when he admitted he couldn't beat 10 men, that takes balls. That takes real understanding. Phonies claim invincibility. Masters admit limitation. Bruce was a master. Over the next 2 years, Bruce references this interview in other conversations, expands on the ideas, develops the philosophy. He tells students, don't train to beat multiple opponents. Train to avoid multiple opponents. Train awareness.
Train de escalation.
Train running. If you must fight, train to create space, to escape, to survive, not to win. Survival is winning. Bruce teaches scenario, puts students in situations where they're outnumbered, lets them experience the chaos, the confusion, the impossibility. Most tap out immediately. Some try to fight. All fail. Bruce says, good. Now you understand. Now you know what you're actually facing. Now you can make intelligent decisions. Run, hide, use weapons, use environment, anything except standing there trying to fight everyone like a movie hero. In 1973, Bruce films Enter the Dragon, the famous mirror room scene. Bruce fighting multiple opponents, using mirrors to confuse them, using space to isolate them, fighting them in groups but never all at once, always creating angles where only one or two can reach him. The choreography reflects his philosophy. He's not standing in the center fighting all direction. He's moving, creating separation, using tactics, making the many become few. That's the lesson. That's reality translated to cinema. Bruce dies before the film releases. Never sees the impact. Never sees millions of people study that fight scene. Analyze it. Recognize the intelligence in the choreography. Recognize that even in movies, Bruce is teaching, showing how you'd actually have to fight if outnumbered. Not with invincibility, with intelligence. Decades pass. Mixed martial arts emerges. UFC. Pride. Organizations where real fighting happens, where techniques get tested, where theories meet reality. And Bruce's 15 seconds of honesty prove prophetic. Every time a fighter faces multiple opponents, rare but it happens, they struggle. Even champion, even the best fighters on the planet. Because math doesn't care about skill. Physics doesn't care about training. 3 opponents is exponentially harder than 1. And 10? Impossible. In 2010, UFC champion Georges St-Pierre does an interview. Someone asks him, could you beat 5 regular guys in a street fight? GSP pauses, then references Bruce Lee. Says, Bruce Lee once said he couldn't beat 10 men at once. People thought he was being humble. He wasn't. He was being honest. Could I beat 5 untrained people? Maybe 1 or 2 before the others rush me together. Then I'm in trouble. Real trouble. Fighting multiple people isn't about skill. It's about luck. And I don't bet my life on luck. In 2015, Joe Rogan, comedian, UFC commentator, martial artist, talks about this on his podcast. He says, Bruce Lee telling that interviewer he can't beat 10 men? That's the realest thing ever said about fighting. People don't understand. They think because you're skilled, you're invincible. You're not. You're just better. But better has limit. Physics has rule. You can't change them. Bruce understood that. Most people don't. In 2018, a video goes viral. Security camera footage. One trained martial artist against 4 attackers in a parking lot. The martial artist is good. Really good. Drops the first attacker quickly. Injures the second. But then the other 2 rush him simultaneously. He goes down. Gets kicked. Gets stomped. Barely escapes with his life. The video gets shared in every martial arts forum. Every self-defense class. Every reality-based training program. With one caption, Bruce Lee was right. Martial arts schools start using Bruce's interview as required viewing. Not to discourage students. To educate them. To give them realistic expectations. To teach them that confidence is good, but overconfidence is deadly. That skill is valuable, but humility is essential. That real self-defense starts with avoidance, not combat. Women's self-defense instructors particularly appreciate Bruce's honesty. They tell students, a man might be stronger than you, faster than you, bigger than you. Training helped. It absolutely helped, but it doesn't make you invincible. So we teach you to fight long enough to escape, to run, to survive, not to stand there and trade blows. Survival is success. Escape is victory. In 2020, during lockdown, the full interview resurfaces online, gets millions of views. New generation discovers it. Comments flood in. Some people still don't believe Bruce, still think he was just being modest, still believe they could beat multiple opponents if they just trained hard enough. But most people recognize the wisdom, recognize the honesty, recognize that Bruce was teaching something important, something that could save lives. One comment gets thousands of likes, says, Bruce Lee could have lied, could have said, yes, I can beat 10 men. His ego would have been fed. His legend would have grown, but he chose truth over legend, chose wisdom over marketing. That's why he's still relevant 50 years later. Not because he was unbeatable, because he was honest. Another comment, I'm a bouncer, been doing this for 15 years. I've seen trained fighters get destroyed by multiple attackers. Doesn't matter how tough you are, doesn't matter how skilled. Math wins, physics wins. Bruce understood this. Wish more people did. Would save a lot of hospital visits, a lot of funeral. A martial arts instructor comments, I show this interview to every new student, first day, before we teach anything. Because if you don't understand your limitations, you can't understand your training. Bruce Lee, the legend, the icon, admitting he can't beat 10 men. That's lesson 1. Reality exists. Respect it. The 15 seconds spawn academic analysis. Sports scientists study the biomechanics. Confirm Bruce's assessment. One person can realistically defend against 1.5 to 2.3 opponents simultaneously before effectiveness drops dramatically. Add more opponents, effectiveness approaches 0. The math supports Bruce. Physics supports Bruce. Reality supports Bruce. Psychology Mythology researchers study decision-making in multiple attacker scenarios. Find that even experienced fighters make catastrophic errors when outnumbered. The cognitive load overwhelms process. Can't track everything. Can't predict everything. Miss critical threats. Bruce's statement about peripheral vision limits and attention limits proves accurate. Prescient, even. He understood cognitive science before the research existed. What Bruce taught in 15 seconds becomes curriculum. Self-defense courses, law enforcement training, military combative. Everyone teaching the same lesson. Avoid multiple opponents. If unavoidable, survive and escape. Don't try to win. Try to live. That's victory. That's success. That's reality. Think about the last time someone on social media claimed they could take on multiple people. How did that make you feel? Were they being real or feeding their ego? Drop your thoughts below. In 2023, a viral TikTok trend emerges. Tough guys claiming they could beat 5, 10, even 20 opponents. Flexing, posturing, showing off technique. The martial arts community responds by flooding comments with the Bruce Lee interview. Even Bruce Lee said he couldn't beat 10 men. Sit down. It becomes a meme, a reality check, a cultural touchstone. The irony is beautiful. Bruce Lee, who could actually fight, who actually knew combat, who had the skills to make a legitimate claim, said no. Can't do it. Won't claim it. But random internet tough guys with zero training claim they could? The contrast is stark. The lesson is clear. Real warriors admit limitation. Pretenders claim invincibility. What made Bruce's answer so powerful wasn't just the honesty. It was the explanation. The 15 seconds that followed. Breaking down the mathematics, the physics, the reality. Teaching instead of bragging. Educating instead of posturing. That's mastery. Not in the technique, in the wisdom, in the understanding, in the humility to say, I don't know everything, but I know this. Reality has rules and I respect them. Today, that 1971 interview is considered one of the most important pieces of martial arts media ever recorded. Not because Bruce demonstrated technique, not because he looked cool, because he told the truth, uncomfortable truth, ego-deflating truth, life-saving truth, and that truth rippled forward through decades, through generations, through millions of practitioners who learned that real strength is knowing your limits, not denying them. Bruce's 15 seconds taught more about real fighting than most people learn in years of training. Taught that movies are fantasy, reality is harsh, survival is the goal, ego is the enemy, and honest self-assessment is the foundation of real skill. Without that foundation, everything else is delusion. Dangerous delusion. If Bruce Lee were alive today, what would he think of modern combat sport? Of people still claiming they could beat multiple opponents? He'd probably repeat himself. Same message, same honesty, same wisdom. No, I can't beat 10 men, and neither can you, but I can teach you to survive, to recognize danger, to make smart choices. That's what matters. That's what saves lives. 15 seconds on television in 1971. Still teaching, still saving lives, still cutting through mythology and ego and delusion, still showing that real mastery isn't claiming perfection. It's admitting limitation while striving for excellence. That's Bruce Lee. That's the lesson. That's why 50 years later, UFC champions and street fighters and self-defense instructors still quote those 15 seconds, still teach that wisdom, still honor that honesty. Could Bruce Lee beat 10 men? He said no. And in saying no, he proved he was wiser than anyone who says yes. That's the real lesson. That's the real power. Not in the fist, in the mind, in the honesty, in the courage to tell uncomfortable truths when comfortable lies would be easier. That's mastery. That's legacy. That's 15 seconds that echo forever. Who in your life tells you what you need to hear instead of what you want to hear? That person is rare. That person is valuable. That person is doing what Bruce did in that interview. Speaking truth when lies would be popular. That's real friendship, real teaching, real love. Appreciate them. Listen to them. They're trying to save you from yourself. Just like Bruce tried to save millions of martial artists from dangerous delusions about their own ability. 15 seconds. That's all it took. 15 seconds of honesty to teach more than some people learn in a lifetime. To save lives across decades. To fundamentally change how serious practitioners think about combat. Limitation. That's the real Bruce Lee. The wisdom to say, I can't do everything, but I can teach you to survive. That's legacy. That's impact. That's 15 seconds that changed martial arts forever.